do you see a home during the coronavirus outbreak? Can you see a home during the outbreak? What do we do? Stay tuned and I'm going to teach you all of the things that have changed in real estate during the coronavirus outbreak. Hi, I'm Gillian Brown. I'm a real estate agent with Highgarden. Welcome back to my channel. Virtual tours are being used now more than ever in real estate due to the coronavirus outbreak. So, what is a virtual tour, you're asking? It is 3D photography. Think of it like Google Earth for your house. So you're able to zoom in to different rooms. You're able to walk virtually that house and get the flow of the house, the layout of the house, and you can even zoom out and see the configuration of the house. People still have to move. People still have to buy and sell real estate. I understand that there will be people out there that pump the brakes and that do not want to buy or sell during this time, and I completely respect that decision. But I also know that there are people out there that don't have the luxury of waiting. Perhaps they have a job and they're relocating out of Indianapolis and they need to sell. Or maybe they're moving into Indianapolis and they need to buy. Or what if they're having a baby and they don't have room and now the baby's coming in 4 months and they've got to buy a house? There are a slew of reasons why the real estate market is going to continue. It may slow down, but I doubt it, and I will explain to you why in a little bit. How are agents adapting to this environment and getting through this? Well, again, I'm going back to the 3D virtual tour because it's a great way to cut down the risk of having many people walking through your house all of the time. A virtual tour is essentially a virtual open house 24/7. That way, if a buyer sees your house and they're interested enough that they want to see it live, they can do so. It's an added element for buyers to utilize so that they can decide if they want to enter the house and see it live, or if they can discard it just by looking at it and looking at the configuration and it's not going to fit their lifestyle. It's a win-win for both the buyer and the seller. Okay, I know you've heard this 1,000 times by now. Hand sanitizer, washing your hands. I'm going to be emphasizing that for any of my buyers who may be looking at a house during this time, and definitely for all of my sellers who will be entering the house after a showing. We all need to take precautions right now. Keeping your hands clean before and after seeing a property is essential. It's essential for your well-being. So I highly recommend that you wash your hands or use hand sanitizer before and after. I'm personally asking all of my sellers before any showing that they have to turn all of the lights on. And you're probably like, well, of course. But if they turn all of the lights on and leave all of the lights on, then the potential buyer entering the house doesn't have to touch any light switches. And I will instruct the buyers to not turn the lights off so that my sellers can do so. I'm also asking my sellers to open all interior doors, such as the linen closet, bedroom closets, some of the cabinets, so that the potential buyer can get a feel for the depth of the cabinets and how big they are and what they can store. And you know, if something has to get closed, then I'm going to be leaving some rubber gloves. So now, instead of wearing booties before we enter a showing, I'm going to recommend that we put rubber gloves on so that if we touch anything, we don't have to worry about any germs at all. And take those rubber gloves when you leave and dispose of them after. Don't leave rubber gloves in somebody else's house. That's just disrespectful. I hope that it goes without saying, but if you are feeling under the weather at all, or if you are sick, stay home. It is not the time to look at a house. I think right now, I know I am feeling a little cabin fever with this stay-at-home order in Indianapolis. I urge you to only look at a house after you've seen it virtually, after you know that it is a contender and that you may want to write an offer for it. This is going to be so beneficial for the buyer and the seller, and it's going to get their relationship off to a great start. Now, if you have no reason to believe that you are infected or that you could have had any exposure to the coronavirus, feel free to schedule a showing after you have done a virtual tour. If there's not a virtual tour available, contact that agent and ask that agent to take a video for you so that you can alleviate your risk. And again, the goal here is to get you to see more of the house without actually stepping foot into it, to make sure that you actually want to step foot into that house. Best practices for seeing a house house during the coronavirus outbreak. Ride separately from your agent. I know a lot of times this just works out best for me and my clients, but I also have driven clients around. Best practices right now, everybody drives separately. You stay in your car, I stay in mine. Pull up to the showing. Let your agent get out, open the door, give you plenty of room so you and possibly your spouse or your family can enter, and then the agent can enter after you, leaving plenty of space, 6 feet or more. You can go tour the house, and the house is going to be yours for that showing. So if you need to yell, hey, what about this? And if you have questions, that's fine. Keep your distance, keep your space, keep your hands to yourself unless you absolutely must touch something. Again, I'm going to be utilizing rubber gloves for all of my showings as a courtesy to protect my clients and the other side. After you've seen the house and you've walked through all of it, not touching, and you've seen everything with your eyes and you are ready to leave, just let your agent know, hey, we're done, and you can leave, and then give the agent time to wipe down any light switches, any doorknobs that may have gotten touched, and then the agent can lock up and you can drive away. Have a preset plan before your showing to talk to your agent on the phone afterwards. Obviously, give your agent time to lock up and sanitize doorknobs before calling her or before calling them. But again, make a plan to call and talk on the phone rather than face to face. Talk on the phone and give your thoughts on the house. Do you want to write an offer? Is this house a contender? Or can you cross this house off of the list? Have that conversation with your agent on the phone and then move on. Now, I know there's a lot of fear and panic out there about a possible housing market crash. I don't think that's very likely. I don't see that as being a likely scenario. And here's my perspective on that. The housing crash that happened before was due to the mortgage industry. Mortgages were being given out to people who honestly should not have had mortgages. People were overfinanced and given money that they shouldn't have been given. And that's what really caused the collapse. That's not what's going on here in this situation at all. As a matter of fact, I have a closing in just a few days. My buyer just heard from the underwriting department from their lender that they need to substantiate another fact. A statement has already been given, but they need to substantiate and they need a note from my client's bank. So again, mortgages are a lot harder to come by now. You have to have all of your ducks in a row. So I don't see a housing market crash as a likely scenario. So take a deep breath. I don't see that as a problem, especially with the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are at a historic low. They're lower than after the market crash. So people are going to have more buying power, but they can't get the money as easily. So we're safe. We're good. Don't worry about that. Okay, I want to point out one other thing since we're talking about the market. Look at this snapshot. This is a 24-hour snapshot of the Indianapolis housing market. What I want you to pay attention to are the new listings. 133 new properties hit the market in the last 24 hours. 115 properties are under contract in the last 24 hours. And 129 properties have sold in the last 24 hours. Now think about that. So the last 24 hours, we had 133 new properties hit the market, 115 go under contract for the market, and then 129 of them sold. That's almost the amount of new properties that hit the market in the last 24 hours. Do you see why I'm not concerned? The housing market has definitely not slowed down here. The coronavirus has not slowed down this market. We all need to be safe. We all need to be smart, but we can do this. As always, I'm here to help. Thank you for watching.